Greetings family, peace and love to you and yours. This is Guru and thanks for visiting my channel. This video is a man who was wrongly convicted of murder to be set free after 24 years. This video is of this man, Sean Thomas, and it's also on the heels of a video I just did of a white boy named Nolan Bruder who raped his 16-year-old intoxicated sister, incest, and he only got less than 4 months in jail and probation. This right here, this man pictured here, Sean Thomas, this black man, he was wrongly convicted at the age of 16 and just now being released at the age of 43. A total injustice is exactly what black men and black women go through in this KKK court system. So, with that said, let's go to the story. A Philadelphia man in prison for 24 years for a crime he did not commit was set to have a hearing Tuesday to determine when he'd be released from prison. Sean Thomas, convicted of a murder when he was only 16 years old, was sentenced to life in prison in 1994. Since then, Thomas has maintained his innocence, a fact corroborated by the Pennsylvania Innocence Project and a private law firm. Thomas, now 43, was finally able to clear his name after nearly a quarter of a century in prison. Wow. I'm glad he's able to clear his name, but they really need to compensate him greatly for the injustice that's been done to him. Quote, Sean engaged in a decades-long struggle to prove his innocence, attorney James Figorski of Dechert LLP said, according to NBC Philadelphia. Quote, I joined him in that struggle, and many times it seemed that we would never succeed and he would remain in prison for the rest of his life, unquote. The Pennsylvania Innocence Project, a nonprofit aimed at exonerating those who have been wrongly convicted, worked alongside Thomas and Dechert LLP to convince the so-called justice system that he was innocent. The Philadelphia District Attorney's Conviction Review Unit eventually reopened the case, and in 2015, his conviction was finally dismissed after a crucial witness admitted they had lied about Thomas's role in the murder. Now, that happened back in 2015. Here it is 2017, and they're just now going to release him. This is injustice on its head. When the witness came forward and said that they had lied, number one, they should have charged that witness with perjury and then locked them up. At the same time, they should have been working quickly to release this man. But of course, because he's a black man, well, they have to go through the red tape and, well, all kinds of other excuses. So, on the night that the murder occurred, Sean had already been detained in juvenile court elsewhere in Philadelphia after having been accused of stealing a motorcycle, according to the Pennsylvania Innocence Project. But the paperwork proving he was detained at the time and could not have committed the murder, well, it disappeared. The paperwork just all of a sudden disappeared. And you see, this is where the law also broke down, because there's no way that something just disappears. There's some rogue or foul cops that made that paperwork disappear. There should be an investigation into that. It's not justice when you are trying, or you have a black male just locked up and you don't even have real evidence. It becomes lost and all kinds of other foul things, excuses. Nonetheless, Thomas's conviction rested on the testimony of witnesses. Quote, he said, there's no evidence against me other than these two people said Figorski And I thought it's a murder conviction. It's a murder conviction. Must have been some physical evidence or scientific evidence, and there wasn't. So you see, they just locked him up on hearsay. In addition, a key witness named Ron Smith, who saw the murder occur and could corroborate that Thomas was not there, was never asked to testify at the trial. Do you hear this romper room kangaroo court system of how they railroad black men into prison? Do you hear this? So the key witness, they never even asked to testify at the trial. This is how injustice works. And that's why when we hear white racist idiots, we call them trolls, but they're white racist idiots who come to our channels and talk about black crime, they're just so far off base, it's not even funny. It's sickening. In fact, Smith said he was told that his testimony, quote, wasn't consistent with other witnesses, unquote, and that he wouldn't be needed. So the fact that his testimony didn't corroborate and put this man in a bad light, well, we're not even going to use your testimony, basically is what the court system did. And in fact, what they should have done is they should have put him on the stand anyways as a key witness. But because the court system, from the police officers to the district attorney and the prosecutors, they orchestrate our imprisonment. They orchestrate our imprisonment. They orchestrate the so-called statistics that says black men and black women do more crimes than anyone else. The white racists of this country orchestrate this. But I digress. It goes on to say, quote, they had formed a picture of it, how this murder happened, said Figorski, who spent 900 hours free of charge investigating Thomas's case. They were sticking to that, and they didn't seem to want to hear anything else that interfered with that picture, unquote. His mother, who was with him when he was detained at the time of the murder all those years ago, corroborating his innocence, said she was glad the ordeal was finally over. No, this ordeal is finally resolved, so to speak. But they need to compensate this man. They need to compensate him, and it's not just simply over because they let him out. Injustice was served here. They need to sue. They need to get compensated for this man losing 20-something years of his life for people who made up stories that put him behind bars. That's what they need to do, is look into how they can compensate this man for that. Quote, it makes me feel real good, Hazel Thomas told WTFX TV. Real good, because I finally have him back. No, you should. Yeah, I can understand you feeling happy that he's out, sure. But the unjust system, they've done your family wrong. There was some wrongdoing here. Well, family, Thomas's situation echoes that of Dante Rollins, a 29-year-old Philadelphia man who was released from jail in 2016 after nearly a decade in prison. Rollins was wrongly convicted of a shooting that left a 6-year-old boy paralyzed until the Pennsylvania Innocence Project stepped in for him. Quote, this is something he should never have been arrested for, Marissa Boyers Bloomstein Rollins, attorney, said. The legal director at the Pennsylvania Innocence Project said in December 2016, there is evidence that should have been presented at length. It's an egregious violation, and his release is a long time coming. Bluestein spent 3 years working to secure Rawlings' freedom before he was finally released. And yet, that's a case of another black man who they wrongly convicted and had in jail. And I wonder if these type of people that are exonerated, do their numbers come off of the FBI statistics? Of course not. But yet we have to go back and forth with these dumbass racists who typically are white. And then they have their little parakeets of other races who have disdain for black people. They parakeet that same BS. But yet these people that are innocent, their numbers are not taken off the statistics of the FBI website. Those numbers are so skewed. I've said it and I maintain that every day. But anyways, I'm going to end this video off here. Again, injustice is what's being done to black men and women. Injustice. Yes, we have people who are do wrong, and those criminals, yeah, they should be in jail. They should do their time. You do the crime, you do the time. But there's a large segment of black men and women right today who are incarcerated, and they should not be. There are a great large number of white people, both white males and females, who are free, and they should not be. I'm going to repeat that one more time before I go. There is a large number of white males and females who are criminals and should not be free. They should be in the jails where innocent black men and women are at. Thanks for watching. I'm out.